Hi, my name is Michelle LaForte, and I'm the Director of Tax Strategy for Champion Tax Strategy. We are a new firm of old professionals. Most of us have a minimum of 4.5 years of experience with IRS tax resolution. And what our goal is to give you information that helps you make a good choice when selecting whether or not tax resolution is for you. Excuse me. So today we're going to go over a case study. I've got a trucker. And so when we first speak to someone, we get as much information as we can. This trucker files single. It's important to us to find out your filing status. It helps us see what deductions might be available to you. As well, he thought he owed about $20,000 from 2020 2015, 2014. So what we did is we took a look at his expenses, his income, and his assets. Every resolution is based on income, assets, and expenses. If you have enough money to pay the IRS, then you're going to be expected to pay them. If you have a hardship, which can be anything from an injury, an illness, something of that nature, COVID affected businesses, we can show hardship there. Disposable income, how much money do you have left at the end of the month? On installment agreements, the IRS is very good at allowing us to calculate what a payment plan would be for you that did not create more of a hardship. So we can do what's called a partial pay installment agreement. If you don't have any disposable income left at the end of the month, we can put you on a currently not collectible status, which has you paying zero. If you're over the age of 40, your income earning potential has been desecrated in some way, minimized, then we can look at offers in compromise, which would be where we negotiate to settle the debt for less than what you owe based on that income, asset, and expense formula. The IRS literally has a website that you can go to and find out if you qualify. They don't give you all the information, but they give you a good deal of information. So this trucker, again, single, thought he owed about $20,000, had a net income, or excuse me, a gross income monthly of about $8,500, allowable IRS expenses of $7,615, leaving him disposable income of $885. He also had about $2,220 in equity assets, and they were liquid. So he would be expected to look at something if we went with an offer in compromise, or if we did an installment agreement other than a guarantee. So when we looked at this, we thought this gentleman had a good case. He said that all his returns were filed through the years. He might be missing one. So we called into the IRS with the client on the line and found out that he actually was non-compliant for years 2016, 17, and 21, had not processed yet. He felt like he had filed it, but didn't have it processed. He also owed $41,615.23. Now, specifically, this is why we get on the phone with the IRS. We really need to know what the real picture looks like. So now we have a good idea. The last thing that we want to know from the IRS is what the CSED date is, the collection statute of expiration. So his 2020 was filed, it was filed late and had a CSED date of June 18th, 2032. So the IRS roughly has a full 10 years to collect on this gentleman. So when we're looking at options, we want to have all of this information at hand. So when we're looking at this, we know we have to file 16, 17, and probably fax them a copy of 21 since he had it done. So we take a look at wage and income statements that we ask the IRS to send directly to us so we can tell what the gentleman might owe in the future. So our best estimate is this guy is going to owe roughly $60,000 when we're done. He has about $885 left at the end of the month. He does not show hardship for any of these. He's only 35, 36 years old. So we don't want to look at an offer and compromise for him. It knocks him out. We also look at what can we do for a partial pay installment agreement. Now, when we're looking at these situations, one of the things that we take into consideration is how far out will the IRS allow us to go on an installment agreement? So he's going to owe roughly $60,000. If I divide that out by 36 months or 3 years, that's about $1,600 a month. He can't do that. He only has $885 left at the end of the month. So what we did on this gentleman was we went to the IRS, we filed his taxes. He did owe right at the $60,000. I think it was 59,000 and some. And I don't have those numbers right here handy. But at that, we asked them to go out 72 months, which they agreed to, and we got him a payment plan of $833 a month. Now, that was a good situation for him. He was happy with that. He felt like he could do that. His fees with us were minimal in comparison to something that was a lot bigger. But we did talk to him about doing a penalty abatement as well. One of these years that he had owed, I think it was 15, he had almost paid off. And that was the first year that he had owed. So we filed for a first time abatement and we are waiting to hear back on that. Our penalty abatements, I think we're above 92% successful in them. We know when to file them. So we'll be getting some money back for him, I would assume. And then we've got him compliant and filed his taxes. We are waiting for a processing date. This is a relatively new case. Waiting for the processing of these returns. And then we're negotiating this partial pay installment agreement, which I've already spoken to the agent myself, and they didn't see a problem with it. So we're going to submit his financials, prove that he only has $885 left, and get him on an $833 a month payment agreement. So for him, this was successful. Now, one of the things that we look at once we finish a resolution is, as far as your financial health goes, is there anything that we can do to assist? Through the years of doing this, we found that credit was a big problem. It was hard. A lot of our clients are small business owners or sole proprietors, 1099 people, and their credit health seems to depreciate. And so this gentleman had a credit score of about 540. So his was, kind of in the crapper. And so we put him over to our credit repair service department, and they are now working on that. It literally took, he's been working with Shonda for 2 months, and we're already seeing his credit score. It's amazing what it's doing. He had some credit cards that he kept maxing out. And so we showed him where knocking those down, leaving available balances, trying to work with people on net 30s rather than paying with a credit card. And we were looking at his overall financial health and ended up setting this guy up on QuickBooks, showed him how to do it. Our normal fee to get people set up on QuickBooks is about $700. But what that does is we go in with you and show you how to do it. So we go back a couple of years, get your bank accounts linked, make sure that everything's in there, show you how to generate headings and categories that fit you specifically. And then you can pull reports and see a picture of your financial progress. And this guy is already doing amazing in comparison. Every time he gets a receipt, if he purchases something, he uses the QuickBook app and he scans in his receipt and it goes right in. And so we don't have to worry about audits because the receipts are already scanned in, and then he just puts them in a container. And we had him get a file folder with 12 spaces, and each one is a month. And then he just tucks those receipts in that month. He puts it underneath his truck seat, and he's good to go. So for us, this guy was a real success story. The resolution is coming. We're fairly certain that's what we're getting. All in all, truck drivers have a really hard time. Real estate agents, truck drivers, YouTubers are the majority of our clients on the sole proprietor individual piece. Call center, salespeople. We have a lot of those where they spend the money as they make it without paying in for the taxes. And we set Mr. Trucker here up on a estimated quarterly payments. And so he saves out enough to pay so that he doesn't owe at the end of the year. And so we got this guy all squared away and have him in resolution at the current time. So what would happen if I owe the IRS $60,000 and can't pay? This is one of those resolutions. If you have any questions, feel free to call in, ask us. We give free consultations. We actually call the IRS with you on the phone if you would like. That way we don't have to file power of attorney or the FOIA, and there's no commitment. But I can guarantee you once we get through with the IRS, we'll give you what it is that we can do. Always have a question of, can I do this myself? Absolutely. Everyone can resolve their own IRS situation. As well, in court, you can represent yourself. If you're charged with a crime, you have the right to represent yourself. Now, here is my wisdom on that. If you haven't done it yet and you don't know that you could, then you probably don't have the skills or knowledge to do it. Example, if you're going to be charged with a crime, do you want to go into court having someone who knows the law, who studied the law, who works in law every day? Or do you want to take it upon yourself and roll those dice? We've proven to clients, and we tell them, if you're going to do this yourself, make 3 phone calls to the IRS asking the same question. Phenomenally enough, they get 3 different answers most of the time. So be careful. Call center agents are not necessarily skilled. They are fairly familiar with what they can do. They can set you up on payment plans, whether or not it can be a partial pay or one that you can afford. Throw caution to the wind. But yes, you are more than welcome to try and do these on your own. Again, the problem is you're not familiar with Internal Revenue Code, the manual. You're not familiar with the changes in legislation, which happen often. We're coming up with a ton of new ones starting October 1st here, 2022. So I would suggest that you speak to a resolution company. I would prefer that you call mine, of course. There are a couple of good ones out there. And we will make a referral. If you're not happy with what you hear from us, I'll give you 3 good ones out there who can help you as well. All right, so today's case resolution success. We're putting the guy in a partial pay installment agreement. We got him set up on QuickBooks, so now he is a savvy businessman and not getting surprised at the end of the year, not afraid to run his debit card for fear the IRS levied his bank account. His stress is gone and he has peace. Any questions? Call or text us at 316-867-6069 or go to championtaxstrategy.com for more information. Have a lovely day and be blessed.